Okay, so this is second part. This is video number 4. And as we were talking about before, we were talking about all the different things that you can do specifically laid out to get your body back in gear and start walking that path of paleo freedom, where you get natural recovery from trauma, stress, and severe anxiety. And so if you haven't seen slide or video number 3, please go back and watch video number 3, because this is video number 4 is kind of the end of video number 3. I just split them in 2 because they were getting kind of long. So in video 4 right now, we're going to talk about the remaining things that you can do and the scores that you get for them. So the next one in video 4 here is doing a simple defined task. Now this sounds kind of silly, but what it is basically you start at the day and you say, you know what, my simple defined task today at the beginning of this morning is I'm going to wipe off the kitchen counter. I'm going to wipe off all the counters, then I'm going to take the rag and I'm going to throw it in the garbage can. All right? And then you do that task and then throw it in the garbage can. All right, that sounds stupid, right? And you hear that and you go, how could that have any impact? But what it is that our bodies and our minds are constantly looking for order, and that we are able to think a thought, do an execution, and complete something and have something done. And when that we do that, our minds and our bodies reward us with the surge in dopamine. And so when you do that in the morning, right out of the gate, you're going to create a dopamine surge. And remember, all we're trying to do is we're trying to get the dopamine levels back to where they should be, serotonin levels back to where they should be, and our GABA levels back to where they should be, and then suppress cortisol and then keep our adrenaline calmed down. So that absolutely positively is something that's very impactful. It's worth 2 points. It's probably the easiest thing that you can do in your journey to get to a minimum of 10 points every day and hopefully 15 points. Okay, another thing that you should do that's very powerful, that speaks to your subconscious, is hypnosis, for 2 different reasons. Hypnosis is really great about teaching you and inculcating in you and having you experience really good, strong, patterned breathing and body connection. So that's fabulous, and that's an important part of recovering from trauma and stress and anxiety. But there's another thing that hypnosis does, and is that it speaks to your subconscious. And if you use a qualified person who does hypnosis, and they do it the right way, and you tell them exactly what you're trying to do to recover from trauma, then they will customize that hypnosis for you so that it's speaking to your subconscious and telling you everything's okay, everything's all right, nothing's wrong, everything's cool. And as that happens, again, dopamine rises, cortisol goes down. So hypnosis. And then once you get that hypnosis, they're going to record it for you. You keep that recording and you listen to that recording for hypnosis that day. And that's worth 3 points. 3 points on your path to trying to get to 15, but getting to at least a minimum of 10 points a day. And by the way, 3 points, that's the same thing as working out for 35 or 45 minutes. So hypnosis is a great way to score some points. The other thing that you can do, and this will be discussed in detail in video number 15, is volunteer for at least an hour for 1 day a week. I'll get into all the details on the impact that has for you, but the short of it is we're community tribal people. And when we're with the community and we're with the tribe and we're helping the tribe, it means that everything's okay. The tribe's there to protect us. The tribe's there to look after us, and we're there to look after the tribe as well. And it sends a message to your brain and to your body that everything's okay. And then your body responds by lowering cortisol, lifting up your dopamine levels, all those things we've been talking about. We'll talk about it in detail in video 15, but that's worth 3 points if you go out and volunteer for an hour in any one day. The next thing is walking in the sun. It's a beautiful sunny day on Shem Creek here, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. You can see all the shrimping boats. I haven't seen a dolphin yet. Keep your eyes out. If you see a fin pop up, it's a dolphin. The shrimpers all the time kind of toss their extra shrimp to the dolphins, and that's why they hang out in this creek. The ocean is out this way. But one of the most important things you do on a sunny day is make sure you go out for a walk in the sun. It only has to be about 15 minutes. It's going to send another message to your mind. I'm out, I'm walking, I'm breathing, everything's fine. And give yourself 2 points for doing that. We'll discuss that in detail in video 16. Okay, the other thing is very, very powerful, and you get 2 points for doing this. Do 20 minutes of Tai Chi. One of the things that really causes our body to stimulate that cortisol and suppress that dopamine is when you go through trauma or anxiety or stress, your body gets kind of separated from your mind. That's the best way I can describe it. Here's an example. If you have severe trauma, people with severe trauma, they can test them by literally putting a set of car keys in their hand, or an apple, or a light bulb, and ask them, what's in your hand, with their eyes closed, and they can't even tell you. That's what happens when you have severe trauma. It separates your mind from your body. Now, you can recover from that and still be undergoing the effects of trauma, but if you've ever gone through it, if you've ever experienced trauma, or if you've experienced really bad anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. Your body feels a little bit outside of itself, or your mind feels a little bit outside of its body. And so doing that really, really helps it. Now, another thing that you can do is, and this is one of the only supplements that I ever recommend, because I think it's very, very important not to get, again, Tai Chi is that thing that helps your mind connect with your body. It'll help your body feel connected to your mind, help your mind feel connected to what's going on with your motions and your movements of your body. I highly recommend Tai Chi. I'm going to talk about it in detail in session 17. In session 18, we're going to talk about 5-HTP. It is the only, and I mean the only, supplement that I recommend people take. Because I think if you drug yourself up too much with supplements, if you overdo it with supplements, one of the inherent things that's going to happen when you do that is that you're not really curing the underlying issue. You're not really solving the underlying issue. What you're doing is you're loading yourself up in a way with supplements that you won't get in your natural diet to such a heavy level that you won't be able to have that natural healing process. Remember, our whole theory we're believing here is that if you go about doing the natural things the right way post-trauma, your body will naturally heal you. Well, if you add in a lot of supplements, then you're overdoing that, and that's not really a completely natural path. It's not your normal path of consuming normal foods. So what I recommend is doing a 5-HTP, and we'll probably only do that for about 120 days. So I wouldn't do it any much longer than that. I'll talk about it in great detail in session 18. But if you take 5-HTP that day and you're on a 5-HTP regimen, that's worth 2 points as well. And then here's the most important thing, and this is the thing that I found absolutely positively, and all the trauma sufferers and all the people that I've talked to that deal with trauma that I've talked to, this is the number one thing that completely, totally heals and removes your trauma and changes your life. And that is going out and finding a life mission. And we're going to talk about it in great detail on session 19. But finding your life mission does two things. One, people with trauma have a hard time because they tend to be there when they want to be here. But when you start dealing about a life mission, not only do you become here, you also start thinking about the future. You start planning for the future. You start doing things for other people. You get out of your own mind. You get out of your own body. So it's really the most important thing that you can do to heal yourself from trauma is to get out of yourself and find your life mission, and then start dedicating your life mission your life to that mission. So it doesn't mean that you quit working and you go to Bangladesh, although that might be what you do. But what it does mean is you find that one thing that if you're working on it and you know, geez, if this just helps one person, it's worth it to me. If this just can help one person live a better life, I don't care about anything else. Just knowing that one person had a better life, I'm comfortable with that. That's how you know you found your life mission. And you have to look for it. You really have to work and find it. But if you search your heart, you'll find out where it is, and your heart will follow you. You'll follow your heart to end up doing what those things are necessary to live that life mission. We're going to talk about that in great, great detail in video 19. It's the one thing that will absolutely, positively cure your trauma and your stress. So I highly recommend that. Every hour that you work on that, score yourself for 3 points on that. All right, thank you guys. This is great. This is the end of session 4. Now session 5, what's coming up is we're going to start talking about every one of these things that we talked about that will put you on the natural path for healing. We're going to start talking about each one of them in detail, what the scientific basis of it is, as well as what the chemical reaction is when you're doing it, and how it heals things, and how it puts you on a path to paleo freedom and natural healing from stress and trauma. All right, have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.